Prairie Mosaic is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008, the North Dakota Council on the Arts, and by the members of Prairie Public.
Welcome to Prairie Mosaic, a patchwork of stories about the arts, culture, and history in our region.
Hi, I'm Barb Gravel.
And I'm Troy Davis. On this edition of Prairie Mosaic, we're going from farm to table with two of our stories. Right, Barb?
Yes, Troy. This summer, we caught up with the owner and operator of Rolling R Ranch in Otter Tail County, Dale Rengstorf. He's helping to restore a piece of the prairie by raising bison on his land, making it more sustainable for the future.
Yes, then Chef Sara Watson will prepare a bison steak sourced from Rolling R Ranch into an easy weeknight-friendly dish.
Bison is a delicious form of protein that so many people are enjoying more and more. Let's dive right in.
Unlike today, there wasn't really any money to be made in the cattle business, and I had already tried sheep the first 3 years we moved out here, and I decided I wasn't cut out to be a shepherd. I was just looking for something different and something that we could maybe make money on, but might be interesting and fun, and bison sure fit the bill on that one. And it's something that is going back to what this land was. My name is Dale Rengstorf, and I'm the owner-operator of Rolling R Ranch Incorporated at Pelican Rapids, Minnesota. My wife and I moved to this area in 1979, and we were in the feeder pig business to start out, but we had some land that I wanted to try and put some livestock on, and we decided to take the plunge into bison ranching in 1987. My son-in-law, PJ, and daughter Carla have come home to join the operation, and we have the grandchildren around every day. But the other two kids live close enough. They're excited too about the bison ranch. It's a unique thing. At college, they kind of discovered how unique it was when they would tell their friends that they grew up on a bison ranch and so on. They're proud of it. The whole family is proud of it. Well, I'm a edge of being an environmentalist. I'm concerned about things like that. And I was, just going to do it on a small basis. I thought this is, native prairie, and putting bison back on that is just kind of a neat thing to do. And that's really appealed to me, that it was a native animal. And when I was doing both hogs and bison, I was spending so much time taking care of the hogs because cold weather, hot weather, they're just vulnerable to everything. And the bison at that time, such a contrast. They weren't vulnerable to anything. They could take the cold, they could take the heat, and they're just a wonderful adapted animal to this climate around here. But they do take more management. And by that I mean, if you don't manage your animals for the breeding season coming up, they're probably going to give you a calf every other year. So you're going to have to try and manage your pastures, put them out on nutritious grass, the most nutritious grass you can during breeding season, or supplement with some grain or something like that. So you get their energy up there and you get a calf every year. And then when you work the animals in the fall, you do need stronger corrals because they're a wild animal, yet they're going to try to get out. Their tendency to jump over things, so you're going to have the corrals higher. And it's just a whole different experience working bison than it is working cattle. And it's best if you get into the bison business that you maybe visit some ranches and watch them do it before you get into it. Well, we're running 250 cows now, and a cow-calf operation mainly. We're also, we hold some animals back to try and sell as breeding stock, but our mainstay is running a cow-calf business and that would be more in line fitting with the land here and so on. Bison meat is very similar to beef, but the muscles in bison are a shorter fiber, so it tends to be more tender if you don't overcook it, and of course if they're fed right. Bison meat also is a little bit sweeter than beef is, so it's very acceptable to the consumer. There's a big demand for it now. We've gotten it into the marketplace and into the grocery stores on a national basis, and it's selling out, and I think the future looks good for the bison business. So we've been in the business for 38 years, and we've grown over the years, and it's been a really enjoyable ride. I enjoyed it, and I wouldn't want to do anything else. I hope to stay profitable, of course, and the future definitely looks bright for that. I want PJ and Carla to be able to make a good living when they take it over. I hope bison are on this area and whatever 40 years from now. I hope our grandkids take it over someday. That would be a nice thing.
Hi, my name is Sara Watson. I am a personal chef, and today I am lucky enough to be working with this beautiful piece of bison from the Rolling R Bison Ranch. This is a bison sirloin, and we're going to just season it with some salt and pepper and let that beautiful flavor of the bison come out. We're going to grill it and top it with a wonderful herbal chimichurri sauce. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my grill pan hot. We want it as hot as possible to get a nice sear on our meat. I'm going to simply drizzle the meat with a little bit of olive oil and season it with some coarse salt. Today I have the Himalayan pink salt. And I season the meat pretty generously, and also some fresh ground pepper. If you're into marinating your meat, you certainly can do that. I prefer, when you have a nice piece of meat similar to this, to let that flavor shine. Make sure you do both sides. Test our pan quick. Yeah, that is perfect. What we're going to look for on our meat is a nice crosshatch grill mark. You can get that by placing it diagonal onto your grill. And we're going to cook it for about 6 minutes on each side. After 3 minutes, I'm going to turn it to try to get that nice crosshatch mark. While we are cooking the steak, we're going to make our chimichurri sauce. Chimichurri is a beautiful herb sauce. I'm using fresh parsley and cilantro today, and also I'm adding a little bit of sweet red pepper for color and a little flavor. If you prefer your chimichurri a little spicy, feel free to play around with your peppers. You can even use a nice crushed red pepper if you'd like. We're gonna use a food processor, but I am gonna simplify a little bit by chopping a few of these things up. So we have our red pepper, our cilantro, parsley. We're gonna add 2 cloves of garlic. I have a little dried oregano. Again, we're going to use our Himalayan sea salt, a little fresh ground pepper. At this point, I'm just going to give the herbs a little buzz. Let's check on our steak again. We're going to just give that a flip. We're going to add a little bit of red wine vinegar. And pulse again. I'm going to slowly add the olive oil. Look at that, beautiful. Let's check on our sauce. And this will be a beautiful accompaniment to our steak. I like to get the steak to about mid-rare. After I grill the steak, I like to let it rest for a few minutes, just to let all the juices loosen up a little bit. I like to slice it real thin. Then we'll take our sauce. And here we have a beautiful bison sirloin from Rolling R Bison Ranch with chimichurri sauce.
Founded in 1961, the Concordia Language Villages in Bemidji provide a unique language learning opportunity to students of all ages and backgrounds. With more than a dozen foreign languages to choose from, the camp creates an immersive, natural learning environment.
There is no other place like this in the United States, or really in the world, to my knowledge.
When I talk about the Concordia Language Villages, our mission is to inspire courageous global citizens, where you could come into the wonderful Northwoods of Minnesota and experience these culturally authentic sites, this deep immersion learning.
No one day as alike another. Currently we have 14 languages for the youth programs in the summer. The Scandinavian languages that are prevalent in this region, of course, German, French, and Spanish as primary languages taught in the schools. We're the only program that offers a high school credit course in the 4 weeks in the summer in the country in 3 different Asian languages, so Chinese, Japanese, and Korean. And then there's a number of other languages, including Arabic and Russian, Spanish, Portuguese.
So what we're doing at the villages, and it's evolved in those 65 years, but is essentially recreating a natural language learning environment. So they're hearing the language spoken around them, whether or not they understand, whether or not they can reproduce that language, immediately. And they're having real opportunities to use the language, right? So buying something at the store, right? You're not going to get the thing until you get your money out of the bank and you ask for the thing in the language. And of course, all that usage is supported lovingly by staff. If you want the butter that's on the far end of the 16-person dinner table, you're going to ask to have the butter passed in the target language, be it German, be it Danish, be it Japanese.
This is actually year 10 for me. It's kind of like a second home away from home. It's somewhere that I have come back to for over half of my life. Every summer, there's so many familiar faces that I see. I'm going into senior year this year, but I've actually already been accepted to college. And I think this is likely what got me in. So I'm going to be going to Middlebury College in February. I'll be finishing my last semester of high school and then going to college. And it was pretty much luck du bois and learning French and studying abroad that got me in. So this has already changed my life.
I really like to travel, and I know a lot of countries speak French, so learning French really helped me speak French in the other countries that I would like to visit. So like France, of course, but also there's a lot of African countries or countries in Europe too that speak French, so you can travel a lot and know like the culture of those places. So it's really nice. What I like about the Concordia Language Villages is that it's immersive, and so it's really easy to learn. And how we sing songs, it's really easy to learn French, and especially for if you know French already or if you're like a newcomer. So if like you're learning language for the first time or if you already have experience.
In addition to our youth camps in the summer, we have a whole series of events throughout the winter and fall and spring, including family camps where multi-generational families come and really experience the same sort of thing but with a family unit. Or you can come to an adult-only camp, so you're learning German or French or Spanish with other adult learners. And they have a very similar experience. The principles of outdoor, playful learning. One of the challenges of staffing at the villages, we need language experts, people who are willing and able to speak the language at meals with youth, in cabins with youth. So our staffing includes lots of people who were villagers, come back as counselors. College students who are learning language at the college level will come and serve as counselors. And then we also have a J1 exchange visa program, so we are able to get native language speakers from some of the countries that are represented with the languages we offer.
Well, Jerry Huckabo is an amazing visionary, right? I mean, in 1961, he worked with the College Board of Regents, the President Knudsen at the time, Joe Knudsen, and convinced him to try this language camp idea. The camp idea, of course, is a big tradition in the US, and so that came to mind. He had experience in Germany where he was a principal at an army dependent school for a while. He was an education professor at Concordia as well. But he was in Germany, observed how kids, his own kids included, were able to learn a language through play, essentially, through very unstructured but very natural interactions. In 1966, there were 800 campers in 5 different languages. In 62, they added French and then Spanish and Norwegian the following year. In 66, Russian. So in 66, the college then purchased this property from a local family, the Batchelders. They run still today the Bemidji Woolen Mills, and we send our families there and to contribute to the economy locally and thank them for being so supportive of the language villages. They were very pleased when Concordia, of course, then decided to establish itself with the language villages here in Bemidji. Jerry just had this incredible gift of creating kind of a vision for a program. A lot of the elements of that first year still exist today in our program. The name tags people wear when they get a name from the target culture. Over time, of course, the program has evolved and we became more aware of what those key elements were for a language village program. And really a big part of it is the learning community, where everybody is in the same boat, where we have people who start from scratch, but also some people who are more advanced.
There is an economic impact, right? We're filling hotels and airplanes and peripheral businesses with our kids coming and going for programs. But we're also a pretty large employer in the Bemidji area. We are known internationally for our work in language immersion. There are certainly other rigorous and excellent language programs for young people in the United States. I think we are unique in that we're doing that in the Northwoods of Minnesota in an outdoor camp setting and where we're really creating full immersion rather than kind of modeling after a classroom.
I mean, it's incredible. We have alumni in all kinds of positions. Obviously, some move away from the language study over time, right? But it still impacts them in terms of having had that experience and having their eyes open to different parts of the world, different experiences, even if they don't continue with that or travel necessarily to that region. I mean, to me, it's just the idea that the language villages have, and the program concept and the design allows for language learners of all ages and all needs to benefit from the program.
I've learned so much French from being here. Like, being immersed in a village like this is like such an amazing opportunity and privilege for us to have here in Minnesota. When I talk to people and tell them how I've learned French, they're like, oh, that's in Minnesota? That's crazy. And so it's such a lovely opportunity to be here.
I actually was working with some villagers at one of our villages last week. They were a little bit kind of down in the mouth, having a rough day, so I went over and met with them, and one of them said to me, well, why do you do this job? Why do you stay? And I was like, well, I have got an answer to that question. It is incredible work. It makes you believe in the human capacity to share, to create peace, to learn each other's languages and cultures, to find common ground. That is incredibly satisfying.
Dan Brekke found his passion for music at a young age, and throughout his career he's had the good fortune to create music with his family, perform in Nashville, and travel the Midwest, sharing his gift of music.
Well, I heard from a friend of a friend that you packed all your things and you moved out west. Found your gold mine, California sunshine, new start and a new address. Well, Layla's shutting down on the other side of town, and for one of us I better go now. But I heard from a friend of a friend that you packed all your things, and I wish you the best. But meanwhile in Tennessee, well, I'm as drunk as a drunk can be. I got a date with Miss Denver Green. I might call her poor Jackie D. You're on a beach just sipping your time. I'm on a bar still shooting mine. Meanwhile in Tennessee, well, I heard it from a friend of a friend that you wanna wipe the slate, so you moved upstate. Big city lights keep you buzzing all night, and you're working towards a wedding day. When the sun's going down and the band's getting loud, if I wanna buzz, I better go now. Yeah, but I heard it from a friend of a friend that you wanna wipe the slate, and I think that's great. But meanwhile in Tennessee, I'm as drunk as a drunk can be. I got a date with Miss Denver Green. I might call her poor Jackie D. You're on a beach just sipping your time. I'm on a bar still shooting mine. Meanwhile in Tennessee, well, I heard it from a friend.
I heard it from a friend.
Well, I heard it from a friend.
I heard it from a friend.
I heard it from a friend, and I wish you the best. Well, I heard it from a friend.
I heard it from a friend.
Said I heard it from a friend.
I heard it from a friend.
I heard it from a friend, and I'm wishing you the best. But meanwhile in Tennessee, well, I was drunk as a drunk can be. I got a date with Miss Denver Green. I might call her poor Jackie D. Yeah, meanwhile in Tennessee, well, I'm still as drunk as a drunk can be. I got a date with Miss Denver Green. I might call her poor Jackie D. You're on a beach just sipping your time. I'm on a bar still shooting mine.
If you know of an artist, a topic, or an organization in our region that you think might make for an interesting segment, please contact us at prairiemosaic@prairiepublic.org.
You can stream this and other episodes of Prairie Mosaic online, and be sure to follow Prairie Public on social media for more updates and content. I'm Barb Gravel.
And I'm Troy Davis. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Prairie Mosaic.
Prairie Mosaic is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008, the North Dakota Council on the Arts, and by the members of Prairie Public.